Gingin is a pretty little town about 4 kilometres east of the Brand Highway. There are some interesting historic buildings, and a central park and pond make the slight detour worthwhile. The area is primarily involved with agriculture, and various enterprises include olive growing, fruit, beef, sheep and cereal cropping. Settlement in the area dates from the 1830s, after Robert Dale and Edward Barrett Leonard stumbled across the area while looking for stray cattle. George Fletcher Moore's map of the area, made in 1836, shows the name Gingin spelt with J's, but a survey later by W.L. Brockman in 1843 shows the spelling as it is today, spelt with G's. The name comes from the Aboriginal language and may mean footprint, or could also mean place of many streams. Gingin Brook flows through Granville Park, and the brook is the only perennial stream that exists between Perth and the Kimberleys, to the far northeast. The large water wheel is a replica of one that once drove a flour mill on Cheriton Farm. The stream is fed by springs coming from peat banks, which is also a unique occurrence in WA. The meandering brook has created a swamp thicket, where you will find a raised walkway that leads you through stands of paperbarks and flooded gums. Twining bladderwort, helmet orchid and a tropical fern can all be found here, many miles north of the usual habitats. The first school in Gingin was opened on the 18th of August 1862, and a festival was held to celebrate the occasion. The school opened and closed and changed locations over the next few years, and education of the local children seemed to be a bit haphazard until 1881, when things started to settle down a bit, and a teacher was found who would eventually stay for the next 9 years. Initially, it was suggested that the new town site be called Frogmore, but this was dismissed by the locals. Granville was then suggested, and a town site about 3 kilometres from the current one was gazetted in 1869. Only 2 of the 134 town lots were purchased at that site, and it was not popular with locals. Finally, a new town site called Gingin was gazetted in 1883. 3 years later, a telegraph line arrived from Perth. And in 1891, the railway finally arrived as well. Most towns started off with a road board that was responsible for collecting taxes and using the proceeds to build bridges and roads. These boards eventually progressed to become local councils with the responsibility for much more than just roads. In the case of Gingin, the town had both a road board and a municipal council. The town at the time was far too small to support both, and in the end the council was dissolved in 1903. Its assets and responsibilities were taken over by the local road board. In the early days, Gingin developed a beef and dairy industry, and in the early 1900s became famous for the production of oranges. Today, sheep, wheat and cattle are the main industries. Gravity is something we all take for granted, but it's a force that is vital. At the Gravity Discovery Centre near Gingin, you can learn about gravity through a number of hands-on exhibits and interactive displays. Science can be both useful and fun.